Welcome to the Teachers Pep Rally, everyone. If you missed our last episode, we spoke with Dr. Linda Hopper about coaching in the classroom and aiming for student-centered approaches. If you missed the conversation, go back, check it out on your favorite audio platform, or by visiting our YouTube channel. Please like it, share it, and review it. Well, we have several guests popping in to discuss ways to cultivate curiosity and illuminate potential at this summer's Main Street PD in Orlando, Florida for educators. Please welcome some of our session leaders in no particular order. First, we have Marnie Stockman and Nick Coniglio. Sorry, Nick. Two people who are passionate about helping individuals and organizations become the best version of themselves. They're also the authors of the leadership book, Lead It Like Lasso, a book that reminds us that everyone is a leader using gems from the hit series Ted Lasso on Apple. We also have Thomas Hummel, co-creator of Eduaide, the first and only teacher-created AI workspace. Their mission is to make the best tools of learning accessible to every teacher and every student and help bridge the gap between evidence and practice, bringing academic ideas to everyday instructional challenges. And last but not least, my friend Dave Tarnoff, a university professor for computer science. He has published a library on YouTube, bringing the concepts used in software and systems to both students and hobbyists by investigating the theory and then showing how to implement simple systems using tools many of us have at our fingertips. Welcome, everybody, to the Teachers Pep Rally.
Welcome, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Good to see you all again.
Great to be here.
That was a tongue twister, first of all, but only to
especially my last name.
Yeah, Nick, that got me. That really got me. I'm going to be I'm going to be at night. That's going to bother me tonight. But welcome all of you. What a resume, first of all. I consider you all friends, people I look up to, amazing educators and leaders in so many different ways. So thank you for being here with Pete and myself. You may notice Fred isn't here for this episode. There wasn't room for him. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, Fred.
No, we like to tease him here on the Teachers Pep Rally. He wishes he could be here. He says hello. He just had kind of a conflict in things. And Pete and I, this is our spring break. This is what we're doing. So
we're sad.
Welcome to our vacation. Welcome to our vacation. So no, we're going to sit here and we're going to talk a little bit about Main Street PD, which is a professional development, as I mentioned earlier, for educators in Orlando, Florida. It's something that I started several years ago, and it really just came with an idea that I had to marry two of my passions, right? So one is, as you all know, that I'm obsessed with Disney in many ways. A lot of it's around just this idea of how someone could take a dream and turn it into a pretty successful reality. And also just kind of the operations of things. I'm kind of interested in their customer service, the way that they're able to get so many people in and out of their parks and in their resorts and all those things. I think there's also a bit of a nostalgia, right? So my grandparents moved there from New Jersey when I was a kid and used to take me. And then my other passion, as you all know, is education and really supporting and inspiring teachers. So I thought, maybe I could have a couple days where a bunch of educators go down to Orlando and we spend some time in some event space working on things that are important to us, because as you all know, teachers don't have a lot of time. And we have these great ideas. And so wouldn't it be wonderful if you could spend a couple days with some really passionate and excited teachers and educators and leaders and kind of think about what that would look like if you could finish that project or begin an action item. So you all are going to be joining to that. And I thought it might be fun, just so people could get to know you a little bit, is to do our icebreaker that we usually do on the first morning of this PD. And Dave's done it with me before, so I might have him go first. But what we do is we always ask someone, since we are in Orlando, you don't necessarily have to be a Disney fan, so hold tight. If someone were to say, which character would you say you are from Disney? That can include Star Wars, Marvel, and in this sense, I guess The Simpsons, because they're on Disney Plus.
On a bad day, I might have Marge's hair, but that's
there
not
you
who
go.
I'm gonna pick.
You never know. But some kind of Disney character could be from the movies or from the parks or whatever. And then what I like, and Dave adds this is who people probably would say I actually am. So Dave, do you want to give an example by doing yours first?
Well, every time you ask me this, and it's been more than once before that you've asked me this, I come up with a different one. And I think tonight I'm going to go with Rocket Raccoon. And the reason is because, I come up with these ideas, but I'm not willing to pay money to come up with the solution. Instead, I just cobble together whatever I can find out of people's trash and stuff. And I think that other people might agree with that because I typically annoy them in the process. So that's what I'm going to go with tonight.
Very cool. All right. Well, I'll go next just to give another one. So a lot of times I'm truly not your princess type of girl. And I don't mean that in a positive or negative way. I just don't really think people would probably consider me a princess. But I would say that I relate most to Belle. And probably a lot of that is because she loves to read. She's very independent. In fact, the first opening song is all about how she's kind of different. And I feel like that's always been me. And probably my most ideal date would be if someone danced with me in a library. That would be amazing. But what I tell most people is that my closest family and friends would probably say I'm more like Mike Wazowski from Monsters Inc. I'm a little bit of a goofball. I get really nerdy and passionate about my job and what I do. And I really like to wear baseball hats, which I'm not wearing one right now. But if I'm not working, I like to sport a hat. So that's me. Does anyone have an idea of what they would be? All right, Marnie, go ahead.
So also not a princess here. I would say I would go with the fairy godmother because she's sort of like a stumbling, blumbling big mess most of the time. She can get it together for one night if she's got to, like some magic. I can, get it together for a few minutes. But I really like helping others, like bring out their magic and the Cinderella in them. So I'm going to go with the fairy godmother minus the wand. But when I was a teacher, the kids would always say I'd have some oofle dust because they could do pre-calc when I was standing near them. When they went home at night, they forgot how to do it. So that's bumbling fairy godmother.
I love that so much. Pete, do you have an answer?
I'm going to go, I'm thinking Baymax.
Oh.
From Big Hero 6. Because
I was going to say, that's a deep, deep cut for me. I had
I'm
to
thinking Baymax from Big Hero 6 because I'm a big guy, kind of fluffy. I care about everybody. I all I want to do is help others. Sometimes I get thrown into a situation where I have to wear armor and protect others and problem solve and all. And so you kind of like a wannabe superhero, but really not very good at it. And then the connection to Japan, because it takes place, it has connections to that part of the world. So that I would say what others would say about me. I'm going to leave Disney. I'm going to go up the street to Universal. We've been watching a lot of the Universal, the new theme park opening up. We've been watching a lot of those videos. And they have a How to Train Your Dragon's Land opening up. And my kid and I, we were off this week. We said, oh, let's watch that. We haven't watched that in a long time. We were watching How to Train Your Dragon. And my son says, Dad, you're a lot like Hiccup. You're kind of nerdy. You're in this leader position. You handle things, but gosh, you're a mess all the time, And I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm a lot like Hiccup. So I'll take Baymax or Hiccup. That I feel good with that.
Good answer. I like it. How about you, Thomas?
Yeah, I was just sitting here thinking this is pretty funny, but I'd say I'm like Dory. Like I just keep swimming. I'm just like forward, kind of forgetful, kind of, sometimes I make mistakes along the way, but I just keep going. And then just to steal Pete's theme here a little bit, get off of Disney. A lot of people think that I'm a lot like Ted Lasso. So, shout out Ted Lasso in this group, but coaching soccer and like just trying to stay positive. I kind of get that sometimes from other people and the people that
we
know
approve
me.
this message.
And it's interesting because even Dory, I think for me is about positivity, right? Like it's always about just keep going through. So that totally aligns. Nice. How about you, Nick?
Oh boy. I'm going to choose, and I think I know the name. It's Thumper from Bambi. First of all, quick, you may not know this, but Coniglio in Italian means rabbit. So it kind of resonates with me. But I literally just got through talking to my son not an hour ago. And I used the line, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. Right. And that was, I think, first came about through Thumper in Bambi, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But just in general, I think, a little bit of sidekick, sly humor. I'd like to think of myself that way. Nice. I've been accused of that before as well. Although I think from Marnie's perspective, she might call me Loki because she thinks my nice leads to manipulation at some times. And I think
she does not.
Maybe there's some truth to that, but yeah, I think that's where I'm going to go.
Excellent.
Wow, those are really good answers and some characters I've never heard people pull before, but they are so fitting because for some reason you all make a connection to that. So you can kind of see how in the morning, and I usually have like a big list of, like I said, because not everyone maybe knows Disney or is a big Disney fan. So there's really different places you could pull from. And some of you got creative on that. And I love that. And I feel like as you get to know the participants throughout the day and the days, you really start to make those connections of like, oh yeah, I do see how they are a Thumper, or I do see a little bit of the fairy godmother in Marnie. And so I just think it's just kind of a fun way for people to, maybe become a little bit vulnerable, but at the same time, share something about themselves so we can already get to know one another.
I think too, like Disney's so ingrained in our culture at this point too. There's a huge population of people who identify with those people as they grow. I mean, they call it magical, but there is a big piece of that.
Absolutely. And that's where I think, I mentioned when I was young, I think that I could see that and sense it. And there's even groups of people that are educators that try to incorporate some of that magic into their classroom, right? One of the other things that I like to kind of pin to that a lot of people don't realize is that there's a quote that Walt Disney made, I think, when someone had asked him a little bit about how he's able to build dreams. And the quote is, somehow I can't believe that there are any heights that can be scaled by a man who knows the secrets of making dreams come true. This special secret, it seems to me, can be summarized in 4 C's. And he says they're curiosity, confidence, courage, and constancy. And the greatest of all is confidence. So when you believe in something and you believe it all the way, hello, Ted Lasso, my Lasso friends, implicitly and unquestionably. So that's kind of the foundation of the days that we spend together at this professional development. I really want people to be curious, whether that's a project, an idea, or just some people come honestly just because they're like, I'm kind of losing my passion a little bit for education. I've got some frustrations. And so being down there, together with a group of people who are all kind of there for the same reasons. And then we do spend a day in the park exploring. It's like our maker space. I think by the time when you leave, people feel that magic, like you were talking about, Thomas, right? Like that excitement. They remember what it's like to be a kid again, or to be excited about, just kind of the unknown, or exploring being an educator. And hopefully, they think about the things that they're confident about so they can remind themselves when they get back about those things that made them want to go into this profession. Sometimes that means building courage. And then, of course, that constancy. Like, how can I ensure that these things are things that I keep reminding myself even after I'm away from the magic with Aaron King and Marnie and Nick and Thomas and Dave, right? So what I wanted to do is maybe talk a little bit about some of the things that we would be talking about in some of our sessions. So you all have graciously agreed to lead some of these sessions while we're there. And I thought I'd kind of open up some space just to talk a little bit about that, if that sounds okay with you.
Of course.
So let's see. Dave, you kind of alluded to this, I feel like, by picking Rocket. And that's that idea about, you're an idea guy, and I know that, and you do follow through. I've seen you do it. But what I love, and I've seen and heard you do this with even your students that are at your university, is how to help people, and you do it with me too, to be honest, set goals with that like one little spark. So what are some things that, like, when you talk to people or when you go down there, that you hope to kind of inspire them Because some people might be going, well, I want to go and participate, but I'm not sure which idea, or I don't even know if I have an idea for a project or a solution or whatever. So what are some things that they would probably get from you when they attend?
Well, just to start off, I spend my life with early 20 somethings, and they oftentimes have no direction, or so they think they have no direction. And so you get a thesis student that comes, somebody who wants to do a thesis, and they come into my office and they don't know what to do. And inspiring somebody to come up with an idea, to get motivated to pursue that idea, to give them the confidence to pursue that idea, is you look at them and you want to shake them, saying, you don't understand how much you have in your hands to move forward. A little bit of the Ted Lasso believe. They have trouble believing in themselves. Just today, I spent an hour with a group of students who are starting a robotics club. And they were trying to figure out ways to attract other students into the club. And so we sat down, and my favorite thing to do is to just brainstorm ideas and to build off of one another. One of the things that maybe it was in the 4 C's, but buried in the 4 C's, but I like the C, cooperation. There's something about working together that you can bounce ideas off of each other and build ideas. And so we sat with these courses, and we started talking about little projects that they could do in their weekly meetings, and possibly contests. Like we started talking about a Halloween contest where they could start building animatronics and so forth. And I, of course, talked about Disney and about the evolution from the Jungle Cruise up to President Lincoln, up to the Tiki Room, and talked about all the technologies that were behind that. What they were missing was, because I don't know how to do that, I probably can't do that. And so one of the things that I love to talk, I love working with these early somethings, because you can say, okay, would you be willing to consider this? And would you be to try this? And it's okay to fail, but it's okay. And those are just some of the wonderful things that throughout my career I've just been blessed to participate in.
That's awesome. And I'll say some of the things that people have done in the past when they've come, whether it's they came with the idea or they developed it while they were with us, have been everything from improving school culture to getting their school to be a part of a program that NASA astronauts, to incorporating vocabulary more in their lesson plans and finding creative ways to get kids to learn more vocabulary without realizing that they're learning. What else? We've had someone even from Johns Hopkins Hospital, which is an education and research hospital, come, and they were working on a community board so that when big donors for the pediatric wing would come, that they could help them to feel like they were engaged in what was actually happening in the hospital, so that they would maybe donate, more funds to help children in need. So we've had all kinds of different ideas that come. No idea is a bad idea, right? We've all heard that before. And part of that, and Dave kind of like modeled that, was it's important to have, I think, a tribe, a network, or people that you can trust, right? Like I introduced you all as part of that. So Marnie and Nick, that's something that you all would be leading, is getting people to kind of think about who's in their trusted network.
Exactly.
So a little bit of the teaser, then you guys could talk about some of the things that you might have participants do. But educational leadership thrives on building robust connections, right? Engaging in dynamic brainstorming, gathering valuable feedback, creating and crafting innovative ideas. It's not great if you're doing that on your own, right? You got to think about your network. So what are some things that people might be hearing from you at this session?
Well, for sure, obviously, we're going to throw our own Ted Lasso reference in there. So Diamond Dogs, here we come, right? So in Ted Lasso, he had his Diamond Dogs. Not everybody has to have the same strength or be the same type of person, the same type of leader, same type of teacher. It's when you can round that out with other folks that support you that really bring power. One thing that I found in the classroom that I don't know that everyone would expect to be true is sometimes it can be very siloed. My first year teaching, for sure, I one time went weeks without talking to another grown-up. Now think about that, right? I was 21 years old teaching high school, and I went a couple weeks without talking to another grown-up, talking with 16 to 18-year-olds all day long. So if you don't make those connections, it is possible to just tunnel in, do your work, and leave. But it's so much stronger when you build that community. So yeah, we want to do a little Diamond Dog activity to get people thinking about who their support or challenge network are, for sure.
And I'll add to that, not much because I think Marnie encapsulated so much of it, but it's, I don't think any of us are meant to teach or lead alone, right? When you build out your own version of your Diamond Dogs or a professional network, that's really the key to helping you drive and fuel your passion, sharpen your skills, your practice, and really what we talk about all the time, becoming the best versions of yourself, right? It's that professional network that really helps you keep climbing towards that person that you're meant to become. And I think, it's not just theory. I mean, it's going to be interactive, and we're really looking forward to it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think you're right. My first year, I was pretty siloed, and it took me a little bit to figure that out. As a first year teacher, I was like, what is wrong? What is different? Like, I just could, because you're just going the minute you go into the building. So you don't have time sometimes to process that. And I too, Marnie, was like, oh, I never interact with other colleagues. I don't ever, see what other people are doing or learn from them or just kind of bounce ideas or whatever. So I think it is important. And I also think it's important for people, if you're going to be asking for feedback, which you should be, if you're going to be collaborating, which you should be, if you're going to have good days and need celebrations and bad days and need, a pat on the shoulder, you can't do it on your own. You cannot do that on their own. And Nick, for some reason, because you guys are mentioning Diamond Dogs, I'm thinking about rabbits. I would think your group would maybe be called the Ruby Rabbits.
Perfect.
Okay, we'll go with it. You can have it. You can trademark it. That's fine.
I'm writing it down now.
Perfect. Perfect. So Dave and Pete, have been a part of my network for, I don't even know how long, guys, at least 7 years. At least. Yeah. And with the characters you mentioned, I'm sitting here thinking, so Pete, you are kind of my guy. Like, if I just need someone to just kind of, give a hug or just be like a cheerleader, you're there. If you're worried about me, you reach out and check up on me. Yep. And Dave, when I'm trying to kind of work through something or I'm not, and you think I should be, you're my rocket. That's like, you know what, let's like rummage through this a little bit. It might be a little uncomfortable, but let's try to figure this out. And I don't know what I would do if I didn't have that network and know where they could plug in for me. You know what I mean?
Works both ways. Yep. Everybody needs it.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So Thomas, when you all are there, it's going to be, everyone knows it's going to be great because AI is like this huge thing everyone's been talking about. What I love about what you are bringing is the Eduaide.AI platform, which really is specific to educators. So anyone who is familiar with AI or not, I think this is a great opportunity for them to just be in a comfortable space to learn and explore and take educated risk, which is about these couple of days, right? So your session is really about from ideas to action and really transforming goals into reality using a program like Eduaide.AI. So you want to tell us a little bit about, first of all, Eduaide.AI, and then maybe a little bit about some things that people get an opportunity to do when they come and see you there.
Yeah, so I'll just start with this, Aaron. Like whenever you were giving us the 4 C's, you know, you were saying like how we would want that, and it really resonated. Like that's what we want with our students too. Like we want our students to be all those things, but we should also want that for ourselves and like as an educator. And I thought that, you know, that kind of just resonated with me. But you need space, you need the time to do it, and like it's really important that we get together and do these professional development types of things. So like that's the most important thing, is just taking time to reflect on your practice. Like above all else is like just taking the time and being around other professionals. I think that that is like really crucial for making you a better teacher.
Okay.
And so with our session and what Eduaide is, it's a workspace that leverages AI to create higher quality lessons and to help teachers ultimately save time in the lesson planning process. And so we've been really fortunate to just kind of time this thing right and to create something that is pedagogy focused and learning science based. So, you know, the truth is that teaching right now is probably harder than it's ever been. And the expectations on teachers are equivalent, if not more than they've ever been.
No doubt.
And what we try to do was to develop that practical solution to help teachers, you know, bridge the gap between practice and, you know, becoming the best teacher that they can be. So what we'll show you is how to leverage our system and just kind of just AI in general, what it is, and kind of try to stamp out some of the fears, because it can save you a ton of time and it can make you a lot better teacher, and it can help you engage students on a deeper, more meaningful level. And that's what we want, right? Like when you're doing a better job, it's easier to have more energy. When you're struggling, it's draining. And that's kind of how things work. There's momentum to things. So everybody that attends, we're going to give them Eduaide accounts for life. So free for life, and just to be there to support teachers and do whatever we can, because that's our mission. It's been a total blessing to help teachers all around the world. So we're just really happy to be part of this, Aaron, and happy to support.
I am too. I'm so excited. And, you know, I'm part of an AI committee for my school district here in Atlanta. And so it's interesting to hear all the different conversations. And I really feel like you all are doing this right. And it probably is because you all come from that mindset of being an educator, right? And there's like you said, there's fears out there, I think, about using it, or maybe even not feeling confident about how to use it appropriately. So I'm excited to kind of give that space to let some educators, no matter where they all are on that comfort scale, to really be able to play with it. When I say that people come with their project ideas, it's basically personalized learning, but for educators. So every session is made so that no matter what you're coming for, will fit your needs. And by the last day, you literally will have a story, some kind of storyboard or some kind of presentation, or some kind of plan of action. So when participants go back, they can either present it to their supervisors, which we've had people do, to say, hey, I'd like to do this, and propose that, to going back to the classroom, like the vocabulary one, and just immediately the beginning of the year implementing the way that they wanted to start bringing vocabulary more fun and more frequent into their classroom. So I'm super excited about this. I just can't get here fast enough. So one of the days I want to mention, and I said, is like a makerspace day, and it's that we go to Epcot. And I think Epcot for me is that place that Disney, you know, specifically, it didn't get created into what he envisioned before he passed away, but the part of it being that what they call edutainment, where you get to learn and explore, but you're having fun doing it. So it's almost like you don't even realize that you're learning. So we get to go spend the day with these educators and look for inspiration, look for ideas, have fun, play, share stories, and that kind of stuff. When's the last time you all been to Epcot, or have you ever been?
I was there a couple of years ago.
You were?
Whenever their 100th anniversary was. I think that was like 3 years,
Yeah.
3 years ago.
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Not the 100th anniversary of FCOP, obviously, but the big celebration they had a couple of years ago.
Big celebration. All right. So it's been a little bit. And we do ride attractions, if people are wondering. We do get to have. Thomas, have you ever been to Epcot?
I don't think so.
Oh man, you're in for
I would know, right? Like I would know if I went, so I definitely have no idea.
Probably.
We used to have family in the Orlando area when I was young, so I don't know.
No worries.
I
No
bet
worries.
you've been there. Yeah.
Pete's been there, and Dave, you've been there when we've gone with participants. What did you think about that day when we went?
Oh, that was great. I mean, we had an opportunity to learn a lot from people that we had some experts there, but just the exploring. And I had a student many years ago where I was using Disney as an example and talking about a queue, and I was explaining how things worked and applying it to what we were using in class. And the student said, "You mean whenever you're at Disney, you try and figure out how things work?" And my thought was, "You don't? You might be in the wrong degree if you don't. Computer science may not be for you if you're not trying to figure out how stuff works." So being able to, figure out how this stuff works, or backstories. I mean, there's something for everyone. And by the way, the last time I was at Epcot was twice in January. So
Wow.
it's been, I occasionally.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, before I let you all go, because I want to be mindful of your time, there's been some exciting things all of you have kind of been announcing. So I want to give you kind of space to talk about that. Thomas, I've been seeing a lot of things coming out from Eduaide.AI. Is there anything that you'd like to share that's been going on over there?
Just growing, still kind of crazy. We just keep gaining traction, keep getting teachers, and it's really nice. We're getting some great feedback from people, just kind of resonating with the mission that we set out to do, and it's sort of landing home. So I won an award from ASU GSV, the AI show for like AI innovator. It was really cool. Just flew out to California, flew back on Monday. I took the red eye and taught on Tuesday morning. So just, I don't know. My life is just absolute chaos. So
good chaos though. That's good.
But yeah, great chaos for sure.
Yeah.
So, I just feel really lucky, and it's just been a total blessing.
That's amazing. And if people would like to reach out to you or look into Eduaide, where can they do that?
Yeah, just Eduaide.AI, and you'll find us, and all of our contact info is there online on all socials. It's a weird word, but edu like education, aid like help. That's how we came up with it. So, yep, just search it. It's the only word like that, and you'll find us.
That's awesome. And there's a great group for educators that I follow on Facebook. So
yeah, we do giveaways there. We do all kinds of stuff to help teachers, and just kind of give back to the people that made our platform possible.
That's sweet. And Dave, so I did mention you have a library, and I envisioned you rolling your eyes at me, but you have an unbelievable library of videos that people can find at YouTube. Do you want us to tell a little bit about those videos?
And his next video is about being on mute.
Reading lips. You're on mute, bud.
I thought I've got big dogs. And when they start barking, I decide to mute. Speaking about being Rocket, when the pandemic hit, I cobbled together a little video studio in my basement. For a while, the camera was actually perched in the back seat of my convertible Mustang that was parked back there, and I used a storm door glass as a thing to write on, and I just started my students that way. I think now, in terms of the public videos, there's probably 172 videos or something like that, and it's great to have that resource to show my students if they're struggling with something. Hey, here's something where you can watch Dave talk and pause him. It's hard to pause me in a classroom. But yeah, that's something that I've had a lot of fun with. So Internmation.com will get you there. But YouTube, if you just search Internmation on YouTube, you'll find me.
All right. And Marnie and Nick, what have you been up to?
A few things for sure. I'll start. So after we wrote Lead It Like Lasso, we wrote that, and in the back we sort of talk about the legacy we're aiming for. So we're building toward that. And I'll talk about the first step in the water that we've taken as we dip our toe in. We just started a satirical newsletter. Think the Onion meets your career coach. It's called Work in Prog Mess. Also a little kickback to Ted Lasso, but it is for folks who are aiming for becoming their best version, needing career advice, how to get into a college, resume advice, etc., standing out, becoming the best version of themselves, and networking. And we're getting some pretty fun feedback from that newsletter for sure. Although I don't know what to say that when we launched the first newsletter, and again, it's written all satirical, pretty snarky, and 3 people texted me and said, "Ooh, I can hear this right in your voice, Marnie." So maybe we've just written a newsletter in my voice. I don't know. So that's step 1.
That's amazing.
And it's so fun. Work in Progress.AI, by the way, is the link for that. But kind of on the heels of that, we're excited to announce, and we said we would never write a second book, but as luck would have it, we actually wrote a second book. It's in proof copy right now. We're really excited about it. We're looking to launch it at the probably late summertime. It's called The Business of You. And it's really, whereas our first book was very much Ted Lasso heavy, right? We use Ted Lasso to relate the concepts of leadership. This one is written more from the perspective of a fable or a parable, and it follows somebody who happens to be a college student in Sydney who's kind of stuck and really doesn't know how to move forward. And she uses in the book, she has a mentor that magically appears and kind of guides her along the process, but she also uses an app called Blue, which we're really excited about because we're building that app to help people with their personal development initiatives. So anybody who's interested in that, they'll find out about it if they subscribe to Work in Progress.AI. So we'd love for you to sign up. And as we have updates, we'll let everybody know.
And I did sign up, so now all I'll picture is Marnie being the one speaking. No, it's amazing. I've enjoyed already just kind of seeing it, and I'm so excited for you both on this next chapter. Pun intended. Pete,
Hey,
where people continue to find us?
guys, I cannot recommend this event enough. These people are amazing. I look up to everybody on this panel so much. What a great use of some time. Time is valuable. It's not going to stress you out. There's so much professional development out there that's like just mental root canal. Stresses you out. You feel defeated. You feel like what you're doing wrong, what you're not doing enough of. This is completely the opposite, and I can't recommend it enough. I'm so excited for you guys. So yeah, we are on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, websites teacherpeprally.com. Let me get the, there we go. And don't forget, we're talking about Main Street PD coming up in June.
Thanks, Pete. Yeah, Main Street PD. And if you want, you can go to inspirededucation.info. That's my website. And on the front page or homepage, you'll see a little logo that says Main Street PD. Click there and it'll take you where you need to go to register. You still got time, but time is a clicking. So, check it out, register, join us down there. I promise it'll be a great time and you'll feel inspired. Thank you again to all of you for popping in, taking the time to kind of share what this event's going to be like. I cannot wait to see you all in person.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Thanks, everybody.
You.
See you in Orlando.